All right. Well, welcome everybody to the first traffic calming meeting for Greer Road. My name is David Greaves, and I'm a civil engineer that works with NDOT on our traffic calming program. We're meeting here tonight virtually on WebEx, and it is January 21st, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. And this is a virtual meeting, like I mentioned. Okay, so to cover a bit about the agenda tonight, we're going to start with a program overview, basically introduce who we are, what kind of projects we do. And then I want to hear from you all about Greer Road. This project, as the council member alluded to, is maybe a little bit unusual for the traffic calming program. So some of the tools that we have and implement might be a little bit different than a project you might find a little bit closer into the city and suburbs. We do have the ability to kind of review the traffic calming toolbox, and it looks like somebody's messaged me no sound. Is everyone able to, or I guess are some people able to hear me okay?
I am.
Okay. So to Harvey, it sounds like that might be isolated to you. It could maybe be like a speaker issue or something the like. Um, but it is a good chance to remind everyone that since this meeting is being recorded, if there is anyone who didn't get the full experience, either because they aren't here tonight or maybe are experiencing some technical difficulties, this recording will be available after this evening. So if anyone's curious to hear what we talk about, we're welcome to share this around to whoever. In addition to that, we have an online survey open. So we're here to collect feedback tonight, but we also want to hear from folks online if they aren't able to join us today. That survey can be found at NDOT.Nashville.gov/traffic calming. The QR code on the screen will take you to that list. You'll just find Greer Road in the list of open projects, and you'll be able to send us any feedback you like, whether it be questions about the project or specific concerns that you'd like for us to address. So
is that on the little card also?
No, so the QR code on the card should bring you to well, I think it does. I want to say that is the same QR code. Yeah, go ahead and give it a try. If it says engage.nashville.gov underneath, then that'd be the same one. Okay, so usually in meetings like these, we've got a pretty good sense of, what residents are looking for, and usually take a stab at like a concept design to review. Tonight, I really just kind of want to hear which parts of Greer Road are concerning, or if there's any specific issues that we should consider when we do our design. We didn't want to just go do traffic calming measures the usual way for the full 5 miles. We think that would probably please nobody. So we don't have a concept design to review, but I do want to brainstorm one with you all so that when we have another meeting, we can, show what we come up with based on the feedback we get tonight. And then lastly, we can spend a little bit of time talking about how this project will advance after tonight's meeting.
Well, why don't we take can I interject here?
Yeah, by all means.
There's a lot of people on this line because I've gotten a lot of emails about this. And I think the majority, so I would like, are against any speed bumps. So what I would like to hear from are the 4 people that sent in the traffic calming so we can understand what their concerns are and what they were trying to accomplish. Anybody interject anytime.
That sounds good to me.
So can the people that put it in from traffic calming speak up and tell us what you're trying to accomplish? So nobody. David, do you have the list of 4 names that had to be on the list?
I don't have it handy with me. We can definitely review that with you later on and see if they're people that you know. But it sounds like
I'm
those
happy
who
to speak for the
initiated the
nay.
application. Oh, go ahead.
I'm happy to speak for the nay. I think that's the silliest waste of taxpayer dollars, especially out here on county roads. You got to be joking, right? Is this a serious conversation we're having right now?
Why don't
So is
I
there,
do a quick review of what our program is overall, and then we'll discuss some of the options that we have. It sounds like a lot of people on the call are nervous that we're about to put in a bunch of speed cushions on Greer Road. So I'll just start by saying that that is not the plan. We don't think that Greer is the type of road that is a good fit for speed cushions. Um, Given its length, given its context, and how people use it. So if people are concerned that that's what the plan is, I want to put that to bed,
okay, I definitely
immediately.
think
Well,
that's been the concern based on all the stuff that I'm
yeah,
getting.
look,
So David,
why don't
tell
you
us
guys talk
what
about the
other
plan?
options are under traffic calming that could happen.
These are good questions. All of this is included in the slides. What I'll do is
Okay,
quickly run through kind of what we've got programmed in
okay,
order and not try to take up too much of y'all's evening. So briefly, what is traffic calming? This is a street where we take applications and do projects on residential streets. Um, Usually we'll use physical solutions. Speed cushions are really common. I think that's probably some of the source of the consternation tonight. And
right.
often streets are selected or applied for when speeding is happening. So we've got a formula that sort of ranks projects, and that's how Greer is selected after it's applied for. There are three E's in traffic calming: education, enforcement, and engineering. Um, at NDOT, we have the greatest ability to affect safety on our streets with engineered designs, things that kind of enforce themselves at all times, rather than having police or anything else kind of uh, use punishment as a way to slow down vehicle speeds. This is, of course, important because it has an effect on the safety of people using the road. When we see residential kind of neighborhood streets that are really high speed, um, a pedestrian that's struck by a vehicle going really quickly has a much lower chance of surviving. So that's really the core motivation of a lot of the traffic calming projects we do, is slowing down vehicles in neighborhoods where we have a lot of people walking or biking, kind of using the roadways in other ways. This is a really popular program. In September of 2025, when Greer was selected, were one of 25 streets in the cohort that we're doing some designs for. All that is to say, when we choose streets, they're at the top of a long list, and that list is intended to be ranked like most in need of traffic calming to least in need. For anything that we can't cover tonight, Hub Nashville is a good resource that can be accessed by calling 311, going online to hub.nashville.gov. There's also a mobile app that makes requests, very straightforward. So a little bit about how Greer was selected. Basically, when we get applications on residential streets, we make sure they meet a few criteria. So having a volume below 5,000 vehicles per day and having a posted speed of 30 miles an hour or below are two of those criteria that we look at. And that sort of helps us filter out for local neighborhood streets and not so much the really high volume or high speed arterial roadways. Um, when we measure the traffic on a street after somebody's asked for traffic calming, we're looking for vehicle speeds and volumes. So if people are driving really fast, that'll score points. If there are a lot of people driving, that'll also score points. Some smaller parts of the score are vulnerable user injury or fatalities. So if anybody walking or biking has been hit by a vehicle in the last 10 years and filed a crash report, that'll score some points. Non-driver accommodations is asking, like, does the street have sidewalks? Greer, of course, does not. So you scored points because of the lack of sidewalks. If anyone was walking on Greer, they'd be sharing the pavement. And then trip destinations are things like parks, schools, community centers, anything like that nearby would get points just for the added desire for safety around those community-centered uses. So here is some of the data that we collected about Greer. It is posted at 30, but the 85th percent speed that we measured at the particular counter was 45 miles an hour. Again, on a road like Greer, that's not incredibly surprising. We tend to realize that people will usually drive whatever speed they feel comfortable, and not always be super cognizant of what the posted speed is. And then the volume is about 1,100 vehicles per day. So, not super high, but high enough to score some points. And then for the vast majority, I think maybe all of Greer is just a 2-lane road section. It's a very long road, so it ranges from 18 feet to 23 feet, kind of just depending on where you're at. So this is the map. The application was for the entire thing. That's about 5 miles and substantially longer than a normal traffic calming project. So part of what I'm hoping to find out tonight is if there are any particular areas of concern. That would be really useful information for us, because we don't want to indiscriminately just do like one thing for an entire length. We'd like to be strategic about solving specific problems, if any are able to be shared. So that's that. Next up on the agenda is the toolkit. I know that that we've probably got some questions about what we've covered so far, but is there anything that anyone would like to ask before we cover the tools that we have at our disposal?
I got a question.
Sure.
Where exactly on Greer Road were you measuring that speed that you just displayed of 45 miles an hour?
That's something I'll have to look up. I don't have the push pin location with me right now, but it was a particular spot.
Well, I hope it was, but I'm concerned because we have various lengths of pavement that some are straightaway, some are so curved you couldn't go more than 5 miles an hour. But the road is very diverse in some areas as far as curves and natural speed enforcement, if you will. So I'm just curious to where the speed came from.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it was likely one of the more straight sections. If people were getting up to that speed, I think we can all see on the map, there's a couple spots that are relatively straight. And then of course, as you all know, a lot of it is quite curvy.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not here telling you that everyone is driving 45 miles for the whole length of Greer. Like that would be a impressive interpretation, I could say. So don't worry that I'm thinking that in my mind. I realize that there's lots of different conditions up and down the roadway.
I think,
So,
if I may, I'm gonna chime in real quick and then leave. But
Sure.
I think one thing that our community would agree on as a whole is that we have one of the oldest racetracks out here. There's folks that farm and ranch, and so trailers and equipment up and down the roads. I think traffic calming would be a consensus if we could widen the roads, pour a shoulder off in some areas that are super tight. It would help with livestock trailers, agricultural equipment and tractors, these trucks that, use the racetrack that are in our area. And I don't think anyone on this call or in the meeting would disagree with that. So I'm going to kind of bow out with that. I think widening the road would be a proper solution versus, other avenues of traffic calming signs. That stuff doesn't work. They blend in over time. Speed bumps is a horrible idea and a waste of money. But widening the road would be an option depending on what the easements of people's properties look like in those areas.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
And everything that
Unfortunately, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was saying, I second everything that gentleman just said. I own a prominent local business in the area, and any mention of traffic and impediment is extremely concerning to me, for many reasons. Safety being one of them. I don't think putting uh, any sort of device or anything, speed bumps especially, would be safe on a dark 2-lane road. So I'd be curious to hear exactly what's proposed, and what the plan is otherwise.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing. So just to clarify, we have not proposed anything yet. We're really looking to hear from you all what, if anything, you all would like out of a project. Road widening is one example of a suggestion. I will say that kind of project takes a very different amount of resources to pull off. So this project cannot do that kind of like widening work, even if it may be needed. But again, I can assure you, we aren't coming here and just proposing speed bumps because somebody asked for traffic calming. We realize this is not the same situation as many of Nashville's more urban streets.
So are
Yeah,
you
can you hear
asking?
us?
Go ahead.
Can you hear? Can you hear? I'm asking the question. I just want to know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. I was thinking a change that I've noticed lately over the last 10 years is bicycles also share the road. I mean, by bicycles, I mean these exercise guys that go out and get it, and they take up some width, which is not a problem. It's just that it's something that did not seem to exist 15, 20, 25 years ago. Now they actually take up a bit of the road. So the person that said something about widening roads, that would take care of that. But it is more congested even from the perspective of bicycles. You see 10, 20 of them in a row. I don't know where they're coming from. I mean, maybe downtown or California or something, but it's a new trend that we've been seeing out there that could be the reason why people are trying to get around the bicycles. It's just the factor that I've noticed lately in our area.
Yeah. Good to know.
I don't know how calm they will be to have those little skinny tires going over those bumps, but it would be interesting.
Yeah, and again, I can't emphasize this enough. I have no interest in putting speed bumps on Greer Road. Like that's not the only thing that this project could be, and it's definitely not our first choice.
Do
Well,
you
So
why
have
it's
don't
a
we just
physical
examples
thing,
of,
right? It's a physical
what it
thing,
could be?
or since you're using the word calming, is it? Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be music or something like that, but it's a physical thing that would slow things down. Okay. Is there an
Yeah, so
example of that somewhere else? Is there an example of that somewhere else where it's been put in effect?
so why don't we use this as an opportunity to run through some of the tools that we do have. This is for all traffic calming projects in Nashville, so you'll see things that um, will not be appropriate for Greer. I promise we're not proposing all of these things on this project. But let me just kind of run through some of the tools that we have at our disposal when we're doing a design, and that might help us talk about which things, if any, you'd like to see on Greer.
So when is the time where we get to tell you some of our concerns? Is it now or do we wait?
Oh, well, I mean, any time is fine. What are you concerned with?
Um, so I'm wondering about the volume. From what I understand, when the highways get backed up, they use Greer as a cutover, and so that feels like even I've only lived here for 5 years, and the volume has gone up a good deal.
Mhm.
Um, and then trucks are another issue. I know you probably hear about the trucks that go around from Dry Creek onto Licton, try to make that super, well, I guess it's more than a U-turn. Anyway, a horseshoe turn. Um, but we're having more trucks and some of the trucks are not necessarily respectful of how little the road is, and I've been run off the road a couple of times.
Got it.
Nancy, I want to intervene there because a lot of things that I do hear from people. And David, tell me, could this be a part of the traffic calming with, actually Union Hill Road has become a major cut through too. And a lot of people have asked me, can we get it to where we put signs? It was 4 different spots: the Union Hill Road, Dry Creek, Greer, and Licton on the other end, to where trucks are not allowed on those roads, 18-wheelers.
So that is definitely not a traditional traffic calming project tool, but I am willing to look into and discuss with our
Okay.
partners at NDOT any ideas that you have. Reason being, we understand this is not kind of a typical suburban or urban street,
Right.
and much more of a rural road with different needs. So restricting large vehicles is
Yes,
something that you all are interested in.
absolutely.
Presumably the
Large
local
dealers,
uses.
18-wheelers,
Yeah,
not race rigs and stuff like that, not farmers. We're talking about the big
like the
18-wheelers
traffic that
that every
is
time,
going through.
yeah,
Yeah,
cut through traffic.
under,
Like I said, 18-wheelers that block Union Hill and Lincoln. We got a sign that says don't turn to the left. They're still turning and blocking.
got it. So you're talking about the intersection of Union Hill Road and Greer specifically. Could you tell me more about the turning issues that y'all are having?
Well, right there at Greer, at the end of Greer turns into Union Hill, and right there we put up a sign 2 years ago uh, because 18-wheelers kept turning. It's a very, very, if you look right there, you can look on the map and down there. Well, I'm trying to find it.
Union
Right
Hill
where you
Road.
really can't, you can see it, but that sharp turn, and when they turn on Licton,
Yeah.
they're getting hung there. Even though we put up the sign last year and they didn't actually put up what I requested. I put up I requested no left turn for 18-wheelers. They just put up a sign that shows that 18-wheelers can get hung. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately with those drivers, if they're going and they're going to be going to the left after they come off Licton Pike, they're still going to try to turn there. And that's what's happening. I mean, that sign really didn't solve that problem.
Got it. Well, that's definitely good to know. I'll follow up afterwards, but
Okay.
I might try to track down whoever at NDOT worked on that to see if they have any additional background that could help us move forward with that. But
What's the speed limit on Greer Road?
the only speed sign I could find had it posted at 30. That was near Ivy Point going north. So 30. Yeah.
I mean, in my experience, 30 means 40 or 45 to most people. How do the residents on here that are on here, if we drop that mile per hour, do y'all think that would be any kind of effective?
That won't be an effective. David, the only
No.
place you could have got that 45 mile an hour is from Union Hill around to Ivy Point. That's the only long stretch clear road. The rest of it's real curvy. The part about no tractor and trailers, we have a church camp up here that gets deliveries from food vendors
Yeah.
and products. So they still have to have the tractor trailers coming up here for that.
Mhm.
The only major traffic right now is right at Union Hill and Greer Road. The dump trucks filling in behind right across from the trading post. There's better than 50 tandem and triaxle trucks coming up here every day for the last couple of months.
Got it. Well, yeah. So what we can look into is seeing if it's possible to ban like through truck traffic. There are some signs that say like local deliveries are okay or something to that effect. And operators of trucks ought to know the difference between the two. So
David, can I jump
Well,
in
that
real
makes
quick?
sense. That makes sense because there's no warehouse or endpoint, and anybody who's going to do deliveries at Traders Post will know that there's a pinch point, generally, but there's no warehouse or distribution center or new 18-wheelers going to come in and out.
yeah. Understood.
And
To the next person that jumped in. Oh, go ahead.
Yep.
the raceway also gets a food truck out every 3 weeks that is a tractor trailer size. So
Sorry about
We-
that. We don't want to do that.
well, no, like but no through trucks. I mean, if you're just cutting
Right.
through to avoid traffic, that's a different thing. The others aren't coming in and out that often for deliveries.
I would say the ones that, delivery, the ones that are going through are the problem because they don't know the area. The ones that do deliveries at Traders or Ambassador Conference Center or the Raceway, they generally know where and how to generally, unless they just came in from Somalia or something like that, they generally know.
Or wherever. It doesn't have to be there, but they have been there before,
Gotcha.
most likely.
Okay.
Hey, David, can I jump in real quick?
Yes, please.
So I own a business up here. I'm on one of the longer stretches of Greer before there's a turn. Actually, this is my business, Junk Remedy. I do have dump trucks. They're single axle dump trucks. They're small trucks, not larger than your biggest pickup truck. I'm on a stretch where people could do 45. I've never had a single problem. Yes, my house is a little bit farther back. I've never had a single problem. And I believe it was Harvey that just brought up the dump trucks that are being dumped right in front of the trading post, and they're chewing up the road and destroying the road. It's constantly dirty. It has just been a nightmare, but I've never had a problem with anyone driving past my house. And when my truck's alone, the amount of wear and tear, yes, I have dump trucks that are cab overs, but even in my normal vehicle, I avoid roads where there's speed bumps. It just becomes a problem on wear and tear on all of our vehicles. And I know you've said you're not putting in speed humps or speed cushions, or you might not. But I'm just saying the amount of wear and tear on the amount of people's cars that actually live on Greer Road is going to be catastrophic. And my crew, my drivers, and everyone, I tell them to avoid those roads because those things are ridiculous. You've been talking about Nashville, and I know it's just you're doing the seminar or whatever this is, but this isn't Nashville at all. This is rural, beautiful land. We enjoy the streets, we enjoy the looks, but it's going to become a big issue with the people that actually live on this road. Or, if you have to throw them in and you don't have a say, put them in front of the 4 people's houses that said that they want them. But I can tell you the vast majority of us do not. And I know you said you're not putting them in, but as a business owner up here, my business relies on this street. And yes, the cut through street, as everyone else has said, it is a problem when these semi trucks are coming through unless they're needed to go to the trading post or that the church school. That makes perfect sense. But a cut through, that's definitely. And Jennifer jumped in. They put in that sign, and that's great. Is it working? Who knows? But I mean, there's definitely a bunch of other opportunities and chances other than taking the taxpayer dollar out. And businesses like mine and a bunch of other people in this call and on the Facebook chat, that tax money goes to the town, and we're advocate donors to the Goodlettsville PD and other people around here. And I don't want my money going towards screwing up my road and screwing up my business. Nevertheless, the amount of emergency service that it would take to go across these speed bumps is going to be a big difference. The average response time for my house is 20 minutes. What's it going to be if there's speed humps? That's just kind of my take. So, yeah.
True, very true.
Hey,
Yeah.
I would like to piggyback on that. I actually live
Sure.
across the street from Danny. Were the people that submitted this required to be residents of Greer Road?
Yes.
Okay.
And we will know which 4 they are. So, I mean, I'm not trying to call them out, but we want to hear your concerns. Evidently, you had enough concerns to put in traffic calming, and this is the time. I think the one thing we can come out of this meeting with is we do not want no speed bumps, and I think David's already said that will not happen on Greer Road. I don't think the people have to vote for that, and I can tell you right now, the people aren't going to vote for speed bumps anywhere on Greer Road. But I would like to know what the 4 people that put this in, what else what other recommendations were they thinking might help with what's going up there? They're a part of that road too, and I'd like to hear their input, but it seems like to me they're not on the call.
Yeah, well, to the 3 of you who just spoke, thank you for sharing. And yes, I empathize 100%. So we've got some more slides. We'll get to the part about voting and kind of how this project proceeds. I think that'll get us at least to the end, and then we can continue taking questions and
Hey, David,
discuss as much as.
can I ask a question real quick?
Sure.
So would Greer Road have been on this list at all had the 4 people not voted or signed us up for it?
No.
No.
So all traffic calming projects begin with an application.
So they put the application in, and that's why we're on the list to start with.
Correct.
Correct.
And again, let me just jump into the next couple slides. I'm going to basically just skip over speed cushions. You all know what these are. Don't like them. We're not proposing these. Same thing with tables. This is some data that shows, why they're a tool that we use, in neighborhoods where people do want them and for speeds to slow down. So that's that. Radar feedback signs are something that we do on projects where cushions are not wanted or possible. So this is one thing that we could consider. If there are any particular spots where y'all are concerned that maybe people are driving faster than you would like them to, this is a tool that can help them, see that they're going faster than the speed limit and ideally slow down. When pavement's really wide, we can do narrowing and pavement markings. So if there is striping issues that you all see and want to let us know about, please do. Narrowing a roadway visually can sort of help slow people down by shrinking that pavement. It also gives a little bit of room for error on the sides. We may consider it at some of the wider parts if it seems worthy, but definitely not a done deal by any means. When we have pretty wide roads, we'll sometimes do like a walking path on a roadway without sidewalks. Again, Greer does not quite have enough width for this to be a tool that we're considering. And then intersections, when we have intersections that are too wide and too easy to use in large vehicles, we'll sometimes shrink them down with bulb outs. It sounds like y'all experience the opposite problem, and the available width is not as much as you'd prefer to use the road and make all those turns. So again, we don't really think that these are going to be a tool that are super helpful in this situation, but we do them in other spots. Chicanes are where the road zigzags back and forth when it would otherwise be straight. That's like kind of a maneuvering motion that makes it harder to go at high speeds on straightaways. And then pinch points are sort of a volume control tool. We'll do them on roadways that are like really low volume, sort of forcing a, who goes first kind of dynamic. But again, this is something that we see in Nashville on much more urban, much more like side streets, so to speak, and less kind of the main road through a larger area. And then traffic circles are similar to roundabouts, but kind of a retrofit at intersections. So making a little roundabout that will, help people go at slower speeds through intersections. So to finish up, like all of those things can be considered traffic calming. I know in Nashville, we've gotten really used to traffic calming being kind of synonymous with speed cushions because they happen quite a bit. But again, I really want to emphasize like that is not what this project is or has to be. And we are very interested in what you all want because we have no interest in building something that everyone is going to hate. So I'll move to the part about balloting, just to answer any questions you all have there. So when we do speed cushions in Nashville, that has to be approved by 2/3 of the people that send in votes. And what that means is that on a street like Greer, where the majority of the feedback we're getting is not favorable to cushions, I don't really see a reason to even entertain doing them.
Correct.
So we'll likely do a design that does not need to be balloted, meaning, you know, if you all, if anyone wants us to propose speed cushions, you know, say so and like we'll think about it. But again, I haven't heard anything from anyone on this call that you know, indicates that we should do that. So as of right now, you know, I have no plans to. And then once that ballot is done, you know, we would move into construction. But again, I think the solutions that we're thinking about are either specific to the kinds of traffic moving through Greer, or some of those less intense like spot safety improvements, signage and markings. That kind of thing really doesn't get an approval process required for it. So we may move on with construction once the design is done and once we've finished having our meetings with you all to kind of explain, you know, what the project's going to look like.
I filled out the paperwork to vote, but it didn't allow me to vote. What should I do?
So we haven't begun the voting period for Greer Road yet.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure thing.
I've got a question.
Yes.
Is there an option for a Metro police officer sitting there at Ivy Point Church with a radar gun during peak?
Thank God.
During peak driving morning and afternoon when these people are cutting through here, them 1,100 cars a day. That's what your problem is.
So that is something that Metro Nashville Police Department can do. I think they do designate kind of like target enforcement areas on request. That is the perfect example of something that can be requested through Hub Nashville. And the reason for that is Nashville Department of Transportation really doesn't have a say on where the police do their police work.
I think that would be very helpful.
But you
as
could,
well.
you could share
Go
your data with the volume of daily counts you've got plus the speed limit drive. I think they might be interested in that data. We would want to do that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Yeah, I haven't seen Metro doing that up here in 20-something years.
Me either. 10.
I've got one question. It says it goes over to Kenwood Drive. Does that go into that subdivision?
So the map that I've got, I'm gonna go back. I don't think it goes into any particular development. It looks like it kind of just gets to the county line and then is the county line for the northern half of it.
One map I saw, it showed it going into that residential neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can take a closer look. You know, once we're looking. Is there something particular about that subdivision you're curious about?
No. If that map was true and it's running through a subdivision, that's probably where those 4 people live that want something in their neighborhood and not on straight on Greer Road.
And that's Robertson County.
Yes.
Oh, I see. You mean like isn't that road also called? I think on my map it said it was Greer, like another Greer road over the county line. But no, that's not the street that we're talking about. The application did specify from the top end to Union Hill Road.
So I have another issue that isn't Greer, but it's the Licton Dry Creek by where the store is. When you come up Licton, you cannot see the cars that are pulling out from Dry Creek, and people coming off of Dry Creek have a hard time seeing the folks who are coming up the hill on Licton, even if they're going straight. And that is, it feels to me like a huge potential for some accidents, because there just isn't any. I mean, it's just designed poorly.
And Nancy, I just want you to know, and so David knows too, that I've already been working with NDOT. I can't remember who I worked with. And so far, everything that I have proposed there has been turned down. I asked for it to maybe become a flashing sign coming up the hill. And so far, everything that I've asked for has been turned down. I guess they're going to wait till somebody gets killed right there, because that is one of the most dangerous areas I feel like in my whole district.
Agreed.
But I'm glad you brought that up, and maybe David can help me do something right there.
I agree with that. That is a dangerous area right there. Just past,
absolutely.
I don't know if a roundabout, it's just past that pinch point also where those trailers get hung up. If there was an open flat roundabout area or something like that, it could solve the trailer pinch point and getting blindsided. That's a rough area. I agree. I mean, you killed
David, have you been up here to my area to see those roads?
Yes. So I've been in this neck of the woods before. We have not yet done our site visit. So what's coming up after this meeting is we're going to check out Greer Road ourselves, drive the whole thing, check out anything in particular that we feel like we need to visit. So intersection of Licton and Dry Creek is definitely on that list. I would love to check out the intersection of Union Hill Road and Greer. But we'll drive up and down the entire thing as part of that visit.
Yeah.
Whoever
brought that up, that's a good point, because they're within 300 feet of each other, and if there was a large roundabout area or some way of letting people, and especially even if there was a sign letting people know the certain speed limit, I don't know if you have to vote on that also, but if that's something that could be put in quickly, temporarily, then a roundabout within 300 feet, it may kill two birds with one stone, that area right there.
Correct.
Dave, may I ask a question real quick?
Yes.
We call it, there's a few of us up here call it the wall of death, but it's basically a wall of trees that are right on the line of the road. If you get your right tire on the road, you're going to tear the right side of your car off. And it's just, if you're coming from Nashville, it's just past the the cellular tower. How would I've complained about them trimming it back, but all they do is trim it back, and then you can see the trees a little better and know that you're fixing to hit the tree. But is there like a buffer zone 2 foot or something that should be there? I mean, because we got a lot of dump trucks driving up here now. And then we have the race trailers coming as well. And if they're on the yellow line, you have to come off of it and get over to the right side of the road. It's sudden death. And then they've come out and cut a couple times. And if you could take a look at it when you're doing your survey, it'd be helpful. I'll try to find the actual address that's right there in front of the trailer in the S turn before you get to the second set of S turns. But long story short, they've cut the trees off and they're sticking 6 or 8 inches into the road at windshield height. So anybody that just veers off the road just a little bit is going to get 8-inch log through the front windshield.
Goodness.
Is anybody else experiencing that?
Who else was that speaking? I'm not sure where you're speaking of. Who was that speaking?
Mike Gilbert.
I know
Mr.
exactly
Gilbert,
where
if
he's
you
speaking
will send
about.
me some pictures, if I could give you my number, and if you'll send me some pictures of where you're speaking of, I will get with the proper department and try to get that handled.
Jennifer, it is
Absolutely.
the spot that he's talking about is, you know, the red cell tower.
I can't think of it. Where is, what
It's
road are
like
we
Past,
on?
past,
it's
past,
right past Ivy Point.
Past Ivy Point. Okay.
In between
yeah.
Ivy Point and Dividing Ridge.
Like a radar
Okay. I don't
station.
go down that way
Yeah,
too often. That's the back
it
way.
looks like, yeah, it's a giant red tower. It looks like a radar tower or something. It's right there on the original Greer farm.
Yeah, past Leo Greer's farm there.
Okay.
On
Well,
the
if
left.
somebody will send me some pictures of what needs to be done, I will start working on that.
What's your number, Miss Jennifer? I'll get you some.
584-7244.
7244. That's
Yes, sir.
awesome because I haven't been able to have, and I'm just scared to death. Somebody, especially with the dump trucks coming through, somebody has to go over to the shoulder of the road to get out of the way, and they're going to have a tree come through the windshield.
Right.
Yeah,
Even
it's
with
pretty.
I know what
racetracks
you're talking.
traveling up there.
I know what you're
Go
talking
ahead. I'm
about.
sorry.
That's just a really. I know what you're talking about. It's good that you brought it up. It's just a really sharp turn right by the original Greer farm there. It's just there's two sharp turns there, a bunch of them right
Yeah,
there before you
yeah.
get to Mighty Ridge Road. There's like 3 of them, and if you're going there, full blast, it's going to be a problem. To my way of thinking,
Yeah,
clearing it out is the best thing to do. But it's a 90-degree turn straight up.
yeah.
Well,
And
if y'all will get
I'll
that to
call
me, I can get that done. They've been very good about responding to stuff like that for me.
Jennifer, if you
Good.
need any help with that too, my buddy owns that property, so he'd be more than willing to talk to you about stuff that needs to be done.
Yeah. There's an
Cal, what's
abandoned
your
house.
last
It
name?
looks like.
My last name is Martin.
Will you also send me your information so I'll have it?
Yeah, no problem at all.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And it's there's an abandoned house when it's winter time and the leaves are gone. You can see an abandoned house, and there's the guy that drives a school bus. The school bus sits there right in the curve. But as soon as you go to make that turn, there's 2 logs basically on the edge of the road, and then you go down, and there's about 6 or 8 that are within 6 to 8 inches of the line on the side of the road. And then you get down to where there's a little bit of a guardrail. And what happens is the state comes out or whoever comes out and they take the bush hog and turn it on its side and cut down through there.
Right. Yeah.
But they never get rid of any of the trees, and the trees are just leaning over across the road and whatnot.
Okay.
So
Yep.
And I'll send you some
It's
pictures tomorrow or the next day.
2856.
Okay.
Yep.
So
I
what
think
else,
that's
David?
close.
Well, we've basically covered our tools. We've covered, some of the concerns that y'all have about the street. We talked a little bit about balloting. I guess before we wrap up, I want to communicate that we haven't done any sort of design yet. So we're going to think about a few different options at our table. We've got a lot of things to look into with NDOT to see sort of what things we might bring to you all when we meet again. But we'll have a second meeting once we come up with something to kind of present to you all. It's not going to be able to, address every concern that we've heard tonight. Certainly the traffic calming program is not one that like widens the roads or significantly alters the geometry.
Right.
And then other departments just have the equipment to do the things like tree trimming and removal and that kind of thing. So I've gotten a lot of good information that'll be passed to others. And then I'm kind of thinking, maybe some radar feedback signs on that straight part where we measured the 45 mile an hour could be helpful, just in case anyone doesn't know the speed limit's 30.
Right.
Let them know. But again, we're not looking to do anything that's going to turn this road into a place where y'all don't want to be. So rest assured, I will not come back here with like a speed cushion plan or anything like that. I really appreciate y'all have made your opinions loud and clear, and that's what we come here for.
And I'd like to say one more thing. If everybody will take my email address, jennifer.webb@nashville.gov, and just send me a link with y'all's email. If you don't have email, your telephone number, so I can keep y'all more abreasted on this.
Sure.
Because I don't know how many of the people on the call actually got the cards.
Yeah, do you know?
I actually threw the card away. I thought it was junk mail.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
Yeah, we didn't get a card. I just got it from your Facebook page, Jennifer.
Facebook. And I was going to say, make sure y'all follow me on my Facebook council page, because I am very good about keeping everybody posted.
Okay.
Yes, you
And I
are.
even, reached
Yep.
out to a few people that I knew it would affect to make sure they were on this call that I didn't think they knew.
So Jennifer, say your email again.
Jennifer.webb@nashville.gov.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, David, for allowing me.
Yeah, of course. And council member, thank you for spreading the word. It really does help us get the kind of attendance that we need to be able to develop projects in a way that the neighborhood is happy with. So I do sincerely appreciate you helping us with the outreach.
David, can I jump in one more time?
Yes.
So the only way I actually knew what was going on tonight, and I'm a newer member on the top of the hill here. I used to live on the bottom, and I bought the house up here. The Webbs are pretty neighbors to mine. I'm close with the I know the sons. We're all good buddies. I know the area they're talking about with the trees. And Jennifer, I would love you come on over. I'll show you exactly what they're talking about. I've lost a junk truck here.
What's your address, Dan?
2727.
Okay.
So I'm actually on Greer Road, and I never even received one of these. My neighbor actually sent it to me, and I wanted to jump in again. I introduced myself earlier with the business and all, and obviously I know you kind of said speed cushions are kind of out of the picture, which I sure hope so. Because David, I'm telling you, this is the wrong area. This is not Nashville. This is beautiful. This is beautiful country. This is not, bicycle land. And a lot of people up here, and honestly, the majority of them, the only way I actually heard about this meeting was because of Jennifer's Facebook post. Other than that, I received, and I'm on Greer Road. My address is 2727 Greer Road. I'm sure the majority of people in here have seen my trucks. We're advocate donors in the community. We give back, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. But I'm just saying that I know where the trees are. That's a separate issue of today.
Yeah, separate issue, right.
And it's something that needs to be solved. And again, the other one is the trucks that are coming right across from the Union Hill Trading Post. They're digging up the road. Again, a separate issue. And is it annoying? Yes. But is it this problem? No. But throwing in cushions, I mean, yes, the Licton Point, that little U-turn that they're talking about, the crosshair turn or hair point turn, that's what they call it, is definitely an issue. And I know they put up the signs, or Jennifer got the sign put up, and it's great. And do people listen to it? We don't know. I mean, we've seen trucks up here, and people need trucks. The church, the Trading Post, a couple other people up here do need that. My main concern, and I would love, as much as I don't want the bureaucracy of the government on my property, I would love for NDOT to sit on my property where I live on a strip where people could hypothetically do 45 miles an hour. I've never had a problem, but David, I welcome you and all your friends to sit on my long driveway and just look at, I mean, you'll see a car every 5 minutes. Y'all are welcome to sit on my driveway and just get rid of this whole thing. Or if you have the 4 people that are having issues with this, great. Take care of that with some other way other than cushions. And I know you said you're not really talking about it, but I'll welcome you onto the property. You guys can put your trucks and your radar on my driveway, and I'm on a fast strip. And the last thing I've ever thought about was a problem with speed or people revving up the engine. Nothing. And my backyard's basically the racetrack. And I've had no problem with that. But a lot of the issues that I have is that we do this. There's so many businesses on this road that their taxpayer dollars go to the, Goodlettsville and this, that, and the other, or whether you're an active donor of the chamber or Goodlettsville PD. We're active donors. My business is active donors to the fire department and the PD. And all the friends that I have with here, there, and the other all have issues with the cushions of, hey, This is an issue on the wear and tear on our fire trucks, on our police trucks,
Yeah.
on our police cars, on our cruisers. Throw someone at Ivy Point with a radar gun, and let's call this a day. This doesn't even need to come to a vote. We're talking about 4 people on a road with 1,000 houses of we're having problems. Look at the amount of business owners, the amount of people in livestock, as the other 2 gentlemen stated earlier, livestock, agricultural equipment. You're looking at a lot of issues. It's the bicycles. Throw up a no biking sign. This is probably one of the most dangerous roads to even pedal bike on. And yes, do people do it? Absolutely. Do I mind them? No. But is it frustrating when I come down the road and there's a race tractor trailer coming up and my dump truck's coming and we're basically tires on both sides? I mean, yeah, but that's life and that's how it goes. This isn't Nashville. This is rural, beautiful country. This is not for the bureaucracy of the Davidson County government to come in and start causing some problems. The taxpayer dollar could be used to repaving the road in front of the trading post where we have what? In Jennifer Webb and everyone else in here can see what we have 60, 70 dump trucks coming in with 60 tons of dirt and garbage and just crap being dumped and those trees are falling down. Everyone sees it. That's the real problem. And the hair point turn. The problem's not the speeding. It's the through traffic. That's just the piece here. But you guys are welcome to email or whatever you need. But I'm just saying it's unlikely that good luck with the vote is what I'm saying. I mean, a lot of people thrive on this road and businesses are ran on this road and people that give back to the community. You're talking about 3rd, 4th generation families that have lived here. And obviously I'm newer on the road, but I'm just saying I'm a business oriented house here and I run it through here with donations with the community and this, that, and the other, but I'm a driving based business. Those speed humps are only going to cause problems. And I understand you said it's probably the unlikely scenario, but throw a trooper at Ivy Point and Greer. I don't think anyone will have a problem. We love the police up here. We're all thin blue line supporters and red line, the whole 9. So
yeah, Dan, they can sit in my driveway. I'm right beside the church camp.
sit on my driveway with whatever you want. And I'm telling NDOT can come and I'm on a straight strip here. NDOT can sit on my driveway where people get up to this 45 miles an hour, which yeah, probably happens. I mean, me, myself in a personal truck. I'm not going to deny it. Everyone sees a 30 mile an hour, 35 mile an hour. You do 5-10 over on a straightaway. But the majority of Greer is cuts and curves and where you're talking about with the trees, you're getting down to 2-3 miles an hour there. I mean, this is just, it's just, it is what it is. But there's got to be some changes. And I'm not talking about speed cushions or NDOT doing anything up here. I mean, throwing a radar sign, fine. Get rid of the speed cushions, throw a trooper up here. I'm sure 99.9% of the population would love to see one of the brothers in blue up here, knowing that we're here. But the response time from my house, and I'm pretty quick from the firehouse or the police house, is still 20 minutes. Throwing speed cushions, my house will be gone. So, yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I just
Hey,
want
can I say something?
reiterate. Well, let me reiterate that you guys do not have to worry about me coming back and proposing speed cushions. I'm not going to do it. So just
Right.
know that
Thank
for
you.
sure.
Thank
Go ahead, Mark.
I've lived here since 2004, and my concern about all this today. Oh, did I disappear? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. My concern is I had no idea about this meeting until somebody texted me 30 minutes before and showed me it was being discussed on HIP Greenbrier. So my concern is I know all my neighbors here, they have no idea that this is even in consideration. So if there's going to come a vote, how do we get word out to everybody on Greer Road that there's something going on that could affect the roads here?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let me go back a slide or two. There's a graphic there that can speak to it. And again, voting happens for vertical measures in the travel lane. That'd be like the speed cushions and the speed tables. We don't want to do those unless we have some serious support from the community. I have no expectation that even if we proposed cushions and did send it to a vote, that the residents would be in favor. So again, I don't think it's going to come to anywhere close to there, but I'm showing this
I think
graphic just because it's where the mailing list is generated. Basically, what we do.
the problem is that nobody thought it would get to this point.
You mean like meeting to hear about what y'all
Yeah,
experience
like
on
us being
Greer?
on a 2-hour meeting talking about slowing down on Greer Road.
Well, and half the people that live on Greer Road are in Robertson County. Are they even on the mailing list?
No,
See, I'm in Robertson County, but across the road, I could throw a rock. I'm in Davidson County.
no.
So
Your only
there's
Davidson County
there's the
residents are
problem.
on the list.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Okay.
So,
I think we
Well,
all
I,
know who the four
if
people.
I can say something real quick, and I'll
Ridiculous.
let y'all be done. I've been here 10 years, and I go to Nashville every day, and sometimes twice a day. In the mornings, I can't count probably 4 or 5 cars that I pass on the way in to Nashville every morning. So it just was a real surprise to me that they're trying to cut down traffic flow. Now, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, yeah, there's normal traffic flow, but throughout the day, like somebody was saying, you might see a car every 5 minutes. So, and I'll leave y'all and let y'all be at that. But that was something that surprised me. Was I'm so happy to be up here because I might pass 2 or 3 cars in the morning going into Nashville. So I don't think it's an issue with flow. Speeding maybe, but there's not a lot of people traveling other than at 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
Thank you for all your
understood.
time.
Of
Yeah.
course, thank you. And yeah, just to reassure everyone, these projects are not intended to reduce the amount of people driving on a road. And again, this one is unique. I'm here to hear from you all if there are specific issues or safety problems or things like that we can address. I'd like to, but again, I know that this is not the same kind of street that other traffic calming projects happen on, and we're treating it very differently than a normal traffic calming project.
David, one more time. It seems like everyone in this conversation is pretty much on the same wavelength of, hey, we don't want this up here. We haven't heard anything from the 4 names on a road that has 1,000 houses saying anything. And I would if they're on here, great. I would love to hear from it and just kind of the input. But it seems like everyone on this call is within the same wavelength of what's going on and just stop.
Yeah. Well, would that be a good place to wrap up for tonight?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining this evening. I do really appreciate all the input that you have offered. It gives us a much clearer picture about what you all would like this design to look like. And I think that we're set up to, have a productive second meeting when the time comes.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I will make sure everybody knows it. Make sure y'all email me your email and your phone number or whatever you want to do, and follow me on Facebook. But I will make sure I get the word out like I did this time.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thank y'all for being on here.
Thanks to everyone.
Thank you, David.
Good night, everybody.